Are you wanting to become a YouTuber for fun or for profit? Then check out the amazing Blue Yeti microphone today. Affiliate link in the video description. Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is $3 Theater, and I just got home from checking out Wonder Woman, the fourth film in the DC Extended Universe lineup. The movie that people have been waiting for, and I mean waiting for, not just because it's Wonder Woman and it's her first time on the silver screen in the 75 plus years she's been around, but the fact that it's also the very first DCEU movie to get positive reviews out the gate. Right now, I've been a person who said now for a while that Wonder Woman is going to earn $1 billion at the box office. I've been claiming this. People have been trying to say, nah, Matt, nah, man, nah, ain't gonna happen. Bullshit. I still think this movie is going to break $1 billion. And it deserves to break $1 billion. I adored this movie. I absolutely adored this movie. So if you're wondering, before I jump into spoiler territory, whether or not you should go see it, yes, go see it. It is good. And I will tell you guys what about it I really, really liked. So we're jumping into spoiler territory now. So if you're like, I don't know if I want spoilers, you've been warned. Now, if you've seen the trailers, you've seen the movie. That's how DC does it. That's just unfortunately what they do. But the movie itself, taking place during World War I think really works for the type of movie they want to make. Now, granted, the story of Diana Prince coming into the world of men and defending it against the god Ares, is very straightforward. Very, very, very straightforward story. Steve Trevor crash lands at Themyscira. She gets him out of there after a bunch of Germans come, and she pretty much discovers that no one wants to go and help the world of men. She kind of views her own mother as a hypocrite and takes off, and the mother's like, Hippolyta is like, if you leave, you can never come back. To which I thought to myself, yeah, but Steve came, and he's leaving. So, I don't know. I'm pretty sure she can return. I'm pretty positive. She's a demigod and all, she can kind of do what she wants. That was a bit of a plot hole. There's a couple plot holes in this thing. But what I loved, though, is I loved Gal Gadot's compassion and how her entire journey of a character was to try to fight for mankind. Not men, not women, but mankind. Her job as an Amazon is to defeat Ares. And that is the person who is leading the war to end all wars. The Great War, as they called it. Now, when her and Steve get to London, that's where, a lot of the little humor picks up with Etta, his secretary, and then trying to get it all together. But really, it's Gal Gadot's compassion throughout the movie that propels it from scene to scene to scene. Steve is trying to, he's trying to do what he feels is right. He's trying to do what he feels is best for Diana, as well as trying to, get to the front lines to stop the war, to stop Dr. Poison from releasing the mustard gas, the new hydrogen-based mustard gas that would be far more devastating to anyone it touches. Gas masks wouldn't work, all that shit. And so, that's his mission, and she wants to get to the front, and he wants to get her there, and, that's the whole point. But the scene that kind of really solidified Wonder Woman was the first scene where she basically became Wonder Woman. And that, again, is a scene in the trailer where she crawls up out of the trenches, and she's walking out there, and she, she's deflecting bullets and shit. And then everyone's shooting at her. So, she goes and she beats the shit out of some Germans, and everyone runs forward and they save the day and save the town. And then that's kind of the nice character moments where you get to learn a little bit more about the team, whose names I don't fully remember. There was I want to say the Algerian or the Egyptian guy who was the actor who could do the voices and who knew all the different languages. You had the chief, the smuggler, and then you had the Scottish guy who was the the sniper. And now the thing with the sniper is he had PTSD, right? And that was something they touched on. They never actually said what it was, but he had PTSD, and that was actually happening at the time as well. There was a bit of that happening at the time. The first cases, I think, of PTSD were coming out of World War I, and then first seeing what happens to people coming home or people who have been in battle and everything else, and that kind of played up a little bit and then kind of went away. So it was a real quick point, and then it was gone later on. But it was a nice little thing I noticed in there, a couple little moments of PTSD that they were trying to work with him on and try to get him to calm down and everything. And then through just compassion, he starts to become a better person. So you've got like Diana, you know, trying her hand at all that to get to know the other team, the team who she judged unfairly first, you know, as being a liar, a thief, or a liar, a murderer, and a smuggler. And that was part of it. But then they get, you know, to the castle where the bad guy's at. And you know, he like launches off some gas and like takes out the village they were just in. So then she races back and finds all of them dead, and she's like super upset, but thinks that all mankind is being controlled by Ares. That Ares is the one doing all the horrible stuff. So she's like, I gotta go kill I gotta go kill Ares. So she thinks is the German general. And so she, you know, goes out there and does her own thing, and Steve and his team, they've got to go and stop the gas. And in this case, the gas is very much on a, you know, on a big ass biplane, right? And they're like, we got to go take that thing out. And then of course, Steve ends up sacrificing himself to save the day, gives her his father's watch, tells her that he loves her, although we don't really see that at first. And then, you know, he goes up and he basically like, he kills himself. He sacrifices himself to save everybody, which then prompts Diana to like go straight mental, you know, and then kick the utter shit out of Ares to the point of where she just fucking eviscerates his ass. And then the Great War is over, and then we don't really know what happens to Diana for the next like nearly 100 years. We don't know, because she's like, I stay and I fight now. And then she's in Paris, right? She's at the Louvre. That's where she's at. And then she wears the outfit and she takes off, and that's where the movie ends. I mean, clearly it's post Batman v Superman, but we don't know what happened to her in the meantime of any of that. Like we have no freaking idea. And there's also no other cameo appearances from anyone else in Justice League. You figure like Bruce Wayne like sends her the picture, the original picture that we saw like she wanted from Batman v Superman. Like we know that, but like other than that, there's literally nothing else. No reference to Justice League. This is pure origin film, pure origin movie, and that's it. But it worked. It worked really, really, really well. There's no swearing in the fucking thing. There's a couple jokes about sex. Steve and her actually have sex, which, you know, is implied, heavily implied. Like they kiss for a brief second, and then it cuts away to the next morning, and you're like, yeah, Steve Areno. Tapping that Amazon ass, you know, even though you could probably tell that she's probably going to be the one on top. But the point is that essentially happened. But what I loved about the movie, though, was that the entire outline of everything that Diana did, her entire arc, was all about compassion and love, right? It was compassion and love. It wasn't revenge necessarily. It was about compassion for mankind. It was about optimism for mankind, optimism for the future, optimism that we can be better, optimism that we're not all bad, optimism that while we do have our dark moments that sometimes are contained within the light, that we can overcome them and get back to a shining example of being good humans. Optimism is the underlying theme here, as well as love. Loving for your fellow man, loving for the person you care for, loving for everybody, even your enemy, finding that compassion and that sympathy, even for those who are trying to kill you. And that is something that not a lot of movies, not just superhero movies, but not a lot of movies in general have. And that's what got me like really, like I started getting kind of emotional a couple scenes. Like when she crawled out of the trench and she's like walking towards it. I don't know why, like the music started to swell and she's like, I gotta go save that village. And I'm sitting there going like, yeah, you go save that fucking village. You know, everyone's like, get down. And she's like just deflecting sniper rounds. You know, she's like, ching, 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 ching. What up, sucker? You know, like I got into it. And then she gets into the fight scene in the town, like starts beating the shit out of all the Germans, and like her theme song kicks on. So like at first I hated that theme song. When I heard it in Batman v Superman last year, which just goes to show you how poorly done the theatrical cut is. Like even the score by Hans Zimmer and Junkie XL was crap, but Junkie XL's theme has grown on me in the subsequent year. And so like when it kicked on, she's fighting the Germans and it's all I was like, yeah! I was fucking into it. I was into it, man. Even my girlfriend walking out, she's like, I love that soundtrack. I'm like, so do I. And I hated it last year, but I love it now. It's so weird how that works out. But the point is, like the movie was really well done. It was really well done, shot on 35 millimeter film, which you can see. I would have preferred it shot on digital. To be honest with you, I know they wanted it to be shot on film in order to preserve that film look. But BVS, Suicide Squad, and Man of Steel, I believe, are all shot digital. So this one, I know it takes place during World War One, so maybe the aesthetic is why they chose to do that. But I think no. I will say though, Patty Jenkins did a wonderful job directing this. Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman did a wonderful job at showing the humanity of the character and her striving to be better. Something we don't even get out of Marvel movies is that type of journey. That's about something bigger than you. Most of the Marvel movies we have, yes, the idea there is that something is bigger than you, but they don't ever actually convey it in a way like this. So there's a reason why critics and audiences are flocking to this film by saying, yes, it is good, because it is. It is very, very, very good. It's one that I'm very hoping they continue the trend of. It makes me very happy for Justice League coming up. But here's the downside to it, though, is yes, Justice League opens in 5 months. But there was no trailer for Justice League in front of the movie, which I thought was very odd. It might have just been the theater I was at. They had fucking 20 minutes of other previews, but no Justice League, right? And there was no stinger at the end credits. There was no stinger for Justice League. There's nothing that tied this movie to Justice League, which is like the stupidest thing. You are literally getting ready to unleash one of the biggest films of the year. The team-up people have been waiting decades for. In a few months, you've been teasing the damn thing for 4 years. Nothing at all. But I think to an extent, like them not having anything like that in there shows you they want this thing to stand alone and to do it like that. And that I get. But shit, even Captain America, the first Avenger, had a stinger for Avengers in it. And this one felt very much like Captain America in terms of like not so much like the over patriotism, but like the I'm going to do what's right in the face of pure evil, like that kind of mentality. And that mentality coming through is what's going to propel Wonder Woman leagues above a lot of the competition. And so now DC has basically, they've got a goal to hit, and that goal is something like Wonder Woman. Like that takes it away from the uber bleak Man of Steel and BVS. The themes of those movies I loved. But it moves it away from that. While it's not as like lighthearted as it could be, it definitely had a lighthearted tone and it nailed it. So I'm hoping for more. But if you guys have seen it, what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. My name is, of course, Matt Jarbo. This has been $3 Theater. I'll talk to you guys later. Have yourself a fantastic day. Peace out.